annihilated. When all in this world is annihilated, that part remains as it is. Text 21. Avyakto kshara ityuktas tam ahu paramam gatim yam prapya na nivartante tadhama paramam mama. Translation. That supreme abode is called unmanifested and infallible, and it is the supreme destination. When one goes there, he never comes back. That is my supreme abode. Text 22. Purusha sapara bharta bhaktya labhyastvanandaya yasyantastani bhutani yena sarvam hidam tatam. Translation. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is greater than all, is attainable by unalloyed devotion. Although he is present in his abode, he is all-pervading, and everything is situated within him. Chapter 8, text 23. Yatra kale tvanan vritim abritim chaiva yoginaha prayata yanti tangalang yakshami bharatarshapha. Translation. O best of the Bharatas, I shall now explain to you the different times at which, passing away from this world, one does or does not come back. Text 24. Agnir Gyotir Aha Shukla Shanmasa Uttarayanam Tatra Prayata Gachanti Brahma Brahma Bhido Janaha. Translation. Those who know the Supreme Brahman pass away from the world during the influence of the fiery god, in the light, at an auspicious moment, during the fortnight of the moon, and the 6 months when the sun travels in the north. Text 25. Dhumo ratristata Krishna Shanmasa Dakshinayanam Tatra Chandrama Sangyotir Yogi Prapya Nivartate. Translation. The mystic who passes away from this world during the smoke, the night, the moonlight fortnight, or in the 6 months when the sun passes to the south, or who reaches the moon planet, again comes back. Text 26. Shukla Krishna Gati Yete Jagata Shashvate Mate Ekaya Yatyanabritim Anyaya Vartate Punaha. Translation. According to the Vedas, there are 2 ways of passing from this world, one in light and one in darkness. When one passes in light, he does not come back, but when one passes in darkness, he returns. Text 27. Naite sriti partha janan yogi muhyati kaschana tasmat sarveshu kaleshu yoga yukto bhavarjuna. Translation. The devotees who know these 2 paths, O Arjuna, are never bewildered. Therefore, be always fixed in devotion. And final text, text 28. Vedeshu yagyeshu tapasu chaiva daneshu yat punya palam pradishtam atyeti tat sarvamidam viditva yogi param sthanam upaiti chadyam. Translation. A person who accepts the path of devotional service is not bereft of the results derived from studying the Vedas, performing austere sacrifices, giving charity, or pursuing philosophical and fruitive activities. At the end, he reaches the supreme abode. Thank you so much for chanting. So now we'll return to page number 411, text number 18 of chapter 8. Chapter 8, text 18. When Brahma's day is manifest, this multitude of living entities comes into being, and at the arrival of Brahma's night, they are all annihilated. Purport. The less intelligent jivas try to remain within this material world, and are accordingly elevated and degraded in the various planetary systems. During the daytime of Brahma, they exhibit their activities, and at the coming of Brahma's night, they are annihilated. In the day they receive various bodies for material activities, and at night these bodies perish. The jivas, individual souls, remain compact in the body of Vishnu, and again are manifest at the arrival of Brahma's day. When Brahma's life is finally finished, they are all annihilated and remain unmanifest for millions and millions of years. Finally, when Brahma is born again in another millennium, they are again manifest. In this way, the jivas are captivated by the material world. However, those intelligent beings who take to Krishna consciousness and chant Hare Krishna, Hare Rama in devotional service transfer themselves, even in this life, to the spiritual planet of Krishna and become eternally blissful there, not being subject to such rebirths. Text 19. Again and again the day comes, and this host of beings is active, and again the night falls, O Partha, and they are helplessly dissolved. Text 20. Yet there is another nature, which is eternal and is transcendental to this manifested and unmanifested matter. It is supreme and is never annihilated. When all in this world is annihilated, that part remains as it is. Purport. Krishna's superior spiritual energy is transcendental and eternal. It is beyond all the changes of material nature, which is manifest and annihilated during the days and nights of Brahma. Krishna's superior energy is completely opposite in quality to material nature. Superior and inferior nature are explained in the 7th chapter. Text 21. That supreme abode is called unmanifested and infallible, and it is the supreme destination. When one goes there, he never comes back. That is my supreme abode. Purport. The supreme abode of the personality of Godhead Krishna is described in the Brahma Samhita as Chintamani Dham, a place where all desires are fulfilled. The supreme abode of Lord Krishna, known as Goloka Vrindavan, is full of palaces made of touchstone. There are also trees, which are called desire trees, that supply any type of eatable upon demand. And there are cows known as Surabhi cows, which supply a limitless supply of milk. In this abode, the Lord is served by hundreds of thousands of goddesses of fortune, Lakshmis, and he is called Govinda, the primeval Lord, or the primal Lord, and the cause of all causes. The Lord is accustomed to blow his flute, Venum Kwanvantam. His transcendental form is the most attractive in all the worlds. His eyes are like the lotus petals, and the color of his body like clouds. He is so attractive that his beauty excels that of thousands of cupids. He wears saffron cloth, a garland around his neck, and a peacock feather in his hair. In the Gita, Lord Krishna gives only a small hint of his personal abode, Goloka Vrindavan, which is the supermost planet in the spiritual kingdom. A vivid description is given in the Brahma Samhita. Vedic literature states that there is nothing superior to the abode of the Supreme Godhead, and that abode is the ultimate destination. When one attains to it, he never returns to the material world. Krishna's supreme abode and Krishna himself are non-different, being of the same quality. On this earth, Vrindavan, 90 miles southeast of Delhi, is a replica of that supreme Goloka Vrindavan, located in the spiritual sky. When Krishna descended on this earth, he sported on that particular tract of land known as Vrindavan in the district of Mathura, India. So, we're hearing about the cycle of birth and death that we find ourselves in now. And there's a multitude of living entities like ourselves who are more or less marooned or shipwrecked in this material world, which is being manifest and unmanifest again and again. And helplessly our activities are dissolved. Or we ourselves are dissolved. Though it's interesting because the living, or in the text 19, Krishna describes or Prabhupada uses this word, host of beings is active. And again, the night falls apart and they are helplessly dissolved. But we can understand that we ourselves as eternal spirit souls, we never actually are destroyed. But as was described, the jivas who have not taken to devotional service, their activities are more or less put on pause. And they enter into the body of Vishnu. They're compact in the body of Vishnu. Where did we read that? Yeah, this is on purport to text 18. It says, the jivas, individual souls, remain compact in the body of Vishnu and again are manifest at the arrival of Brahma's day. So this is very wonderful that the Bhagavad Gita, as well as the other Vedic literatures, describe a time scale for the universe and for our adventure in this material world is just massive compared to this tiny spot life. And compared to even, modern history, modern version of history of the earth, or whatever we can come up with, this time scale is pretty much unlimited. And so Brahma's day was described in text 17. We didn't get a chance to read that purport, but scientifically it's broken down that Prabhupada describes that in the purport. I'll just read it. Text 17. By human calculation, 1,000 ages taken together is the duration of Brahma's one day, and such also is the duration of his night. Purport. The duration of the material universe is limited. It is manifested in cycles of kalpas. A kalpa is a day of Brahma, and one day of Brahma consists of 1,000 cycles of 4 yugas or ages. Satya, Treta, Dwapara, and Kali. The cycle of Satya is characterized by virtue, wisdom, and religion, there being practically no ignorance and vice. And the yuga lasts 1,728,000 years. So Prabhupada goes on to kind of enumerate that all these numbers are given in the Vedic scriptures. And gradually, just like the changing of the seasons, we're entering the cold season of the year. At some point, the material universe enters the cold season of Kali Yuga, more or less. And some people say, well, why is it degraded? Well, why? The seasons change. That's just Krishna's law. That's the way that the material universe progresses in cycles. And again, these things are coming and going. And so, continuing with the purport, it says here, skipping just a bit, these 4 yugas, top of 411, these 4 yugas rotating 1,000 times comprise one day of Brahma, the creator God, and the same number comprise one night. Brahma lives 100 of such years and then dies. These 100 years, by earth calculations, total 311 trillion and 40 million earth years. By these calculations, the life of Brahma seems fantastic and interminable. But from the viewpoint of eternity, it is as brief as a lightning flash. in the causal ocean.
Bloop. That's the sound. Sound the soul makes when he falls into the material pool is bloop. Like that.
So then we have to chant Hare Krishna. Then we can get ourselves out again by the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. So there's another place where we're supposed to be. Before we go bloop, then, it's understood that our real home is somewhere else in the spiritual world. And that's described, Prabhupada describes only briefly, but wonderfully, we're so fortunate that in the Bhagavad Gita, as it is, Prabhupada's purports are giving us, the full picture. This purport has God's form, God's identity fully revealed. Of course, what's so wonderful about these books, they're filled with pictures of Krishna, which, just to see Krishna's form, this is very wonderful, amazing mercy that we have been given. And so he descends just to show us this special mercy, and he comes on a schedule. And he can come whenever he wants, but when he does come, he comes to Vrindavan. That's his place where he comes. And Maharaj is describing that this earth planet is it's a special place because of that. We were speaking how there's many sages and saints that were assembling for when Maharaj Parikshit went to the Yamuna River. So all these saints and sages, they were able to travel all over. But they know that this is a special place, this earth planet. And great kings like Maharaj Parikshit, he was so elevated. His opulence his fame was actually on the level of Indra. And the earth planet was bestowed with all good fortune because of his righteous ruling of this planet according to Krishna's laws. So we're very fortunate. This is some strange reality that we're kind of coming to, this Vedic paradigm. Okay, God is real. He's a person. He's very beautiful. And he comes to Earth planet. That's where we are. And he came just like 5,000 years ago, even though the time scale of the universe is like so many trillions of years. But somehow we just came just right now, right when Krishna just came here. And he just came again as Lord Chaitanya. And all we gotta do is chant Hare Krishna. Isn't this amazing? I'm still waiting to understand it, But this is what, Prabhupada is describing. This is what's happening right now. I don't know. So if we can really get some realization, then there'd be no question of, wasting any time or, holding back anything, because there's no better opportunity than right now. But it's hard for us to kind of understand that that's what we've been given. Kevala Ananda Kanda, Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda, Nityaya Gaura Chandra, they have given us this simply blissful process, that Lord Chaitanya has come, the son of Sachi, that is Krishna. And Lord Nityananda is actually Balaram. And they just came here to this planet, Earth, where we are right now. We could be anywhere on the whole universe. And somehow we're here. So this is mercy. And yeah, we just got to take it. And sometimes it's a little tricky to kind of get in gear, follow the orders of the spiritual master. But we try our best, and mercy is there for us, and the devotees are there. And if we take advantage of the process, then we'll just bloop right back to the spiritual world, in and out. And actually that's described. Prabhupada describes that, so this death that is inevitable, along with the birth comes the death. That's described by Vasudeva to Kamsa on the chariot, when Kamsa grabs up Devaki's hair on her wedding day and is going to slay her immediately upon hearing that her child will kill Kamsa. Kamsa is ready to slay her immediately. And Vasudeva says, okay, whatever I have to do to make sure that she's safe for now, then we'll figure it out. And Vasudeva describes to King Kamsa, along with your birth is coming your death. It's sure for everybody. But you are different than your body, And as soon as you're born, you're dying. He says that if you live 25 years, that means that, you're 25 years closer to death, actually, is another way to look at it. So all of us are on our way towards death. And that death for the non-devotee or for the jiva who isn't chanting Hare Krishna or taking this process of Krishna consciousness, death for that person is like a mouse or a rat in the clutches of the cat. And we can see, actually, there's a lot of cats around, and they like to kill little creatures, little insects and rats and mice and things like that. And the rat is very afraid, because he doesn't know what's going to happen. And he knows it's not going to be good. But death for the devotee, which is inevitable as well, is like being carried in the mouth of a cat, but being a kitten who feels great comfort and protection and, satisfaction, being cared for by the mother. So that's the difference, that the devotee is on his way back to Godhead. And it's described that just like one will close their eyes if one has become perfected in this Krishna consciousness, then one will close their eyes at the time of death, and open the eyes and then be with Krishna again. Of course, there's some different, like Dhruva Maharaj was actually taken on a nice airplane. But these things are described. So, this is some points. We should hear about the spiritual world. We should hear about Krishna. And I was hearing from one, I think his name was Gauranga Prabhu. He was describing that there's 4 motivations that are described in the Bhagavad Gita. One is fear, one is desire, one is duty, and one is love or prema. So the first is fear, is more or less motivation in the mode of ignorance that, if I don't make this money, then I'll suffer. I want to be able to eat. So I better do my work. Then another is desire. So we're actually desirous or in a mode of passion to get some fruits to enjoy. Then mode of goodness is duty. I'll perform this activity because it's my duty. I ought to do so. And then there's prema, which is the highest motivation. It's just pure love. So when we hear about Krishna, then we can more or less move along this path of motivations, and we can start to get attracted by Krishna. When we perform devotional service, the first of which is hearing, then there's also chanting, then we start to awaken this pure love for Krishna. Actually, it's described that as soon as we actually receive this message of Bhagavatam, then all the inauspicious things in the heart are destroyed almost to nil. So we go on hearing about Krishna, his form, his name, his pastimes, and because he's the all-attractive, then we're attracted to him, and our intelligence is purified, and we understand, I don't want to do anything for my own pleasure or according to my own feelings or my own likes or dislikes or what I think or what other people think of me. The only thing I actually care about is what Krishna thinks or what Guru thinks. So, and that develops. And eventually we'll have pure love for Krishna and we'll be qualified to see him face to face. We can hear him, we can hear of him, and that is as good as seeing him. But we can actually become qualified to play with him. We can become qualified to chastise him. We can be qualified to embrace him. We can be qualified to be in awe of him in his personal association, to be stepped on by him. We can become qualified to give him shade. We can become qualified to sing him songs personally. So these are when we hear about the spiritual world, which the Bhagavad Gita only gives a small hint about that place, then we can say, well, I want to go there. Be interested in a utopian society or a place where there's, great equality among all peoples and wonderful parties and nice music and nice food and, wonderful social structure and everything works nicely. We're basically, everyone in the material world is trying to go for these things, and they're trying to make their place like that. And so if you want peace and love, you should be interested to hear about the spiritual world. You know, whatever material perfections we can actually, aspire for, they're all actually, perfected there in the spiritual world. And these so-called material perfections that we can imagine here, they're just a perverted reflection of the reality there. So we go on hearing, and then our motivation will kind of build and build. One time Prabhupada was asked, how do we become Krishna conscious? And it was right at the end of a walk. It was described, one devotee was describing a memory that there was like a long walk, and there was one devotee there, and that devotee didn't usually get to go on the walks, and it was visible, or it was perceivable that that devotee was very anxious to ask Prabhupada something. But that devotee didn't ask anything until the very last moment. Prabhupada was about to get in the car and close the door, and the devotee was saying, how do we become Krishna conscious? And Prabhupada said, desire, and he shut the door. Right? So, just like you want to go to Hawaii, or you hear about a place, then you think, well, it may be nice to go there. If you don't know anything about the place, how will you have any, kind of anxiety or anticipation to go to that place or to visit that place? So when you hear about Krishna's abode, then it becomes attractive to you. It's the Chintamani Dham. It's made of touchstones, jewels, palaces, wish-fulfilling trees, and cows which give unlimited quantities of milk. And Krishna is there. And they're all serving Krishna. Everyone's serving Krishna. So if we don't want to serve Krishna, then we don't want to go there. Because that's all that happens there. And that's what everyone else does there too. So like what Maharaj was saying, when we come to this material world, we bloop right out of that place because we don't like to serve Krishna, or we don't like to see Krishna served. So we have our diseased condition, and we don't like to see Krishna served. But when we see Krishna served, and when we serve Krishna, even though we don't like it, then it's like taking the bitter medicine, which heals us. And our jaundiced condition is alleviated, and eventually that service to Krishna becomes very sweet to us. And we also appreciate when other people serve Krishna. And at the topmost platform, like the Acharyas on the Bhagavad platform, Uttama Adhikari platform, they think that everybody's serving Krishna and I'm not doing squat. You know, they actually feel like that everybody is actually serving Krishna better than me. Of course, we should actually remember that, but we're not to jump artificially to that platform. But we can understand that, yeah, actually, that's actually the proper mood. That I have no love, I have no devotion, I have no knowledge. But what can we have? Prabhupada has actually prayed, I have firm faith in the holy name of Krishna. And he's just simply trying to fulfill the orders of his spiritual master. So if we take Srila Prabhupada as our spiritual master, our preeminent Shiksha Guru, and we follow his instructions as our life and soul, then he'll give us all blessings to find Diksha Guru, to find devotee association, to find all the things which are required. That's Krishna's guarantee. That if we serve him, constantly devoted to him, worshiping him in transcendental love, meditating on his transcendental form, to them I carry what they lack and I preserve what they have. Okay, thank you so much, devotees. So maybe we can have some discussion. Dr. Fred?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisances. Thanks for the wonderful insights. I'm wondering, sorry for my ignorance, but it says Krishna Supreme Abode and Krishna himself are non-different, being of the same quality. And then in the next purport, or text 22, that purport, it's basically explaining that entirely, but I'm finding myself not able to really actually understand his variegatedness, or how amazing this Chintamani Dham or Goloka Vrindavan is. So I'm kind of wondering if you can provide more insight with the remaining time of this text 22 purport. You don't have to, but I'm like really interested in it, and I'm not understanding it even with this purport right in this moment.
Okay, well, maybe we can read that. I don't think we read that. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is greater than all, is attainable by unalloyed devotion. Although he is present in his abode, he is all-pervading, and everything is situated within him. Purport. It is here clearly stated that the supreme destination from which there is no return is the abode of Krishna, the Supreme Person. The Brahma Samhita describes this supreme abode as Ananda Chinmaya Rasa, a place where everything is full of spiritual bliss. Whatever variegatedness is manifest there is all of the quality of spiritual bliss. There is nothing material. All variegatedness is expanded as the spiritual expansion of the Supreme Godhead himself, for the manifestation there is totally of the spiritual energy, as explained in chapter 7. As far as this material world is concerned, although the Lord is always in his supreme abode, he is nonetheless all-pervading by his material energy. So by his spiritual and material energies, he is present everywhere, both in the material and in the spiritual universes. Yasyan tastani means that everything is sustained by him, whether it be spiritual or material energy. It is clearly stated here that only by bhakti or devotional service can one enter into the Vaikuntha, spiritual planetary system. In all the Vaikunthas, there is only one Supreme Godhead, Krishna, who has expanded himself into millions and millions of plenary expansions. These plenary expansions are four-armed, and they preside over the innumerable spiritual planets. They are known by a variety of names: Purushottama, Trivikrama, Keshava, Madhava, Aniruddha, Rishikesha, Sankarshana, Pradyumna, Sridhar, Vasudeva, Damodar, Janardana, Narayana, Vamana, Padmanabha, etc. These plenary expansions are likened unto the leaves of a tree, and the main tree is likened to Krishna. Krishna, dwelling in Goloka Vrindavan, His supreme abode systematically conducts all affairs of both universes, material and spiritual, without a flaw, by power of his all-pervasiveness. So, the spiritual world is all spiritual bliss. It is of the quality, it is described as Ananda Chinmaya Rasa, a place where everything is full of spiritual bliss. So there's many forms there. There's many sounds there. There's many colors and flavors and people, individuals. There's many relationships. There's many adventures. There's many tables and books and trees and plants and pots and foods. So many things that are there. But it's not material. Here, material variegatedness is same old, same old. This is just some different combination of the same material elements in a different configuration. But there, everything is actually made of spiritual bliss, because it's actually all expansion of Krishna's energy, internal energy. And so Krishna describes that in the 7th chapter, which is being brought up quite a bit by Prabhupada. He's kind of touching back base with the chapter 7 in the purports again and again. He was describing that Krishna describes aparayam itastvanyam, that there is actually another nature besides the inferior elements, which is actually spiritual. And that spiritual energy, that's actually who we are. We are actually part of that spiritual energy. But because we're very small, we're marginal, we can associate with that spiritual world, that Dham, with Krishna, or we can associate with this material world, with Maya. So maybe we can speak more another day. Bhagavad Gita ki